Good morning to all of you students. In the first part of the lecture of chapter Life Processes third, we had studied we had started our topic, which is the nervous system. So students, in nervous system we had studied we had started that the nervous system comprises of central nervous system, peripheral nervous system and autonomic nervous system. CNS, PNS and ANS, the short form of central nervous system, peripheral nervous system and autonomic nervous system. So what do we understand with the nervous system? See students, the network of nerves inside our body is known as nervous system. Okay, the neurons, what is neurons? The unit of nervous system is the neuron. Means the nervous system is comprises of millions of billions of neurons. Neurons are the unit of nervous system. Okay, when we see the structure of one neuron, see students, this is the structure of one neuron. The body of one neuron contain a circular structure and a tail-like structure. The circular structure is known as cell body or cyton. Here it is written, students, cell body or cyton. Students, you have to draw this diagram in your copy. Okay, these branches of cyton is known as dendrites. Okay students, and the ending of dendrites are known as dendrons. Okay, and this is nucleus. Okay students, inside the cell body, this is nucleus, the blue color is nucleus. This is tail like structure which is known as axon, and on the body of axon, which area is covered with this brown part is known as myelin sheath. Okay, myelin sheath. And see how a nerve cell is connected to muscle. See, this structure is your muscle and the nerve is like this connected to your muscle. This is one neuron structure. Like this only, there are billions of neurons connected to each other is present inside your body. Okay, so what they constituently and what they combinedly form is your central nervous system, peripheral nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Now students, what is the function of nervous system? See, the impulse passes down electrically down to neuron and chemically across the synapses. Now what is synapse? See students, the distance between or the area between one neuron and the another neuron, means the axon ending. See, this is axon ending of one dendrite is connected with the dendrites of another neuron, and the space between dendrites and axon ending is known as synapse. Okay students, so what is the main function of nerves or what is the main function of nervous system? That it transfer messages in the form of impulse. See, you get any external change which is known as stimulus. Okay, your body feels any external change is known as stimulus, and that stimulus in the form of impulse carry out in your body. Okay, so message which transfer inside your body is known as impulse. Okay, so now read it from here. The impulse passes down electrically down the neuron and chemically across the synapses. Means the impulse passes like a electricity from one neuron to another neuron, and the space between the neurons is known as synapse, and the synapse in between the synapse chemically, the chemicals which are present in that synapse is known as neurotransmitters. Okay students, the axon may be covered by myelin sheath. As I told you, here see the axon is covered with myelin sheath, and see the node, on the node of this there is no myelin sheath is present. See here and here. Okay, the myelin sheath help fasten the speed of transmission of impulse. And what is the function of myelin sheath? That it fastens the speed of impulse, means the transmission of impulse get fastened by this sheath. Okay, Impulse is the message passed from the sense of organ to the CNS or the response from the CNS to the organ of response. So basically students, why the message needs to be transferred inside our body? Because it goes to our CNS, that is our central nervous system. Now what is central nervous system, students? This is main important part of nervous system, that what is central nervous system. So basically students, central nervous system comprises of brain and spinal cord. Okay, central nervous system comprises of brain and spinal cord, means inside your brain and spinal cord the network of neuron which is found, the network of nerve cells which is found is known as central nervous system. Combinedly they are called central nervous system. Okay students, the central nervous system is made up of the brain and spinal cord. The brain receives the message, analyze it and sends an appropriate response. Okay, means when any part of your body observe any kind of stimulus or feel any kind of stimulus, they send the message to the brain with the help of neurons. Okay, it can be differentiated into forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Means your brain is differentiated into three parts, which is forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Okay students, forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Okay, see here you can see the structure of brain. Okay, the structure of brain. These are the structure of brain. Now I will tell you which structures show what. See, the forebrain. The forebrain comprises of cerebrum. Okay, the cerebrum is made up of two cerebral hemispheres. See students, this is the structure of two hemisphere, which is known as cerebral hemisphere, and cerebral hemisphere forms cerebrum, means the forebrain part of the brain. Okay, the cerebrum has the ridged grooved appearance in the order to increase the surface area for the greater number of neurons. Why the area is so large students? Because the larger would be the area, the maximum neurons will be contained in it. Okay, now the cerebrum has the right grooves appearance in the order to increase the surface area for a greater number of neurons. Okay, it is the center of for speech. Okay, means what we speak is due to our cerebrum. Okay, voluntary actions. So students, what is the meaning of voluntary action? The action which are in our control, means like eating, drinking, walking, writing, reading, such actions are known as voluntary action. Memory, intelligence, sensory area of sight, smell, sound, emotion and thought, all these activity are governed by the cerebrum part of our brain, which is the part of our forebrain. After that, the midbrain. Midbrain comprises of pair of optic lobes. It serves to connect the forebrain and hindbrain. The optic lobes carry the sensation of sight. So there was forebrain, now here it is midbrain. Midbrain will be the middle part of the brain which contain optic lobes, and optic lobes also join the area of forebrain and midbrains. Okay, and it also carry the sensation of sight, means to see anything. Okay students, after that the hindbrain. The hindbrain comprises of cerebellum, pons and medulla oblongata. Okay, the cerebellum helps maintain the presence of voluntary actions. Okay, means it helps to maintain that what you are going to do and what you are doing right now. The pons is the center of respiration. The process of respiration is controlled by the pons part of your brain. Okay, the medulla oblongata controls the involuntary action. Now the involuntary action like the action of breathing, each and every which is not in your control is known as, each and every process which is not in your control or not be governed by your willpower is known as involuntary action. of body such as swallowing, salivating, vomiting, the working of vital organs of the body. These are known as the involuntary action of the body. Now students, with the help of this diagram I can show you, this is the cerebrum of your brain. Now this is the whole structure of your brain, in which this part is responsible for the movement and touch, this part is responsible for vision, and this part is responsible for hearing, anything, smell and taste. Okay, and this is the cerebellum part of your brain. And the pipe like structure, the vessel like structure you are seeing here, which is not colored, is known as medulla oblongata. Students, medulla oblongata is the last part of your brain, because from here spinal cord arises beneath your brain. Okay students, see here you can easily see the structure by comparing with your head. This is the cerebrum part, okay, this is the cerebellum part, this is the pons part, and this is medulla oblongata. Okay students, hope you are now understanding what I am trying to say. The medulla oblongata continues down as the spinal cord. As I told you, the medulla oblongata is the last part of your brain and it continues down as the spinal cord. The brain is protected by three membranes called meninges. Now the brain is covered with three layers is known as meninges, okay, which is known as meninges. Around the meninges is the cranial or the brain box. Your brain box, which is known as the box which protect your brain, inside that three layer found around the brain, and that is known as meninges. Okay students, between the meninges and cranium runs the cerebrospinal fluid, and fluid is there between the cranium. See students, I can make one diagram on this. Hope this is your brain box, okay, inside this is your meninges, and in between your brain box and meninges the cerebrospinal fluid is found. What is the function of cerebrospinal fluid? It protects your brain, okay, by any kind of mechanical damage. Okay, it protects the brain from mechanical shocks. After that students, you have to know what is spinal cord. Spinal cord is the bundle of nerve running through the vertebral column. Okay, spinal cord is the bundle of nerves running through the vertebral column. Inside your vertebral column, the bundle of nerves which are going along your vertebral column is known as spinal cord. It arises from your brain. It is also protected by membrane which is known as meninges like brain, and inside that the fluid which is present is known as cerebrospinal fluid. Okay students, what is that meaning? Cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid is also protect what? Your spinal cord. Cerebrospinal fluid also protect your spinal cord. The spinal cord helps to control the reflex action. Means the sudden reaction which your body show is known as reflex action, and it is controlled by your spinal cord. It receives the message and send an appropriate response. When any message comes inside your body, any kind of stimulus come inside your body, it direct goes into your brain. But when sometime it doesn't go inside your brain, then it goes inside your spinal cord, and your spinal cord creates any response, and that response is known as reflex action. Okay students, a reflex action is a quick involuntary response. Your reflex action is involuntary response, means you are not wanting to do that, but it is the sudden reaction of your body, okay, of body to a stimulus in order to prevent injury or harm to the body. Okay students, now example of reflex action: the knee jerk reaction, withdrawing your finger when bending prickles, sneezing when a dust particle irritates, and the nasal epithelium, etc. The nasal epithelium, etc. These are the example of involuntary action, or you can say reflex action. Students, a reflex action follows the path of the reflex arc. The pathway through which the reflex action is going to take place is known as reflex arc. It can be illustrated by the following flow chart. See, stimulus. What is a stimulus? The external change. It goes to your sensory nerves. Sensory nerves, students, present in the body part which is getting that stimulus. Okay. Now it goes in spinal cord and motor nerve. From spinal cord to motor nerve. Motor nerve is present in that part of your area, that body part from where you are going to do any response. Okay. Now here you can see organ of response. See, students, with the help of this diagram I can show you that what is the meaning of reflex arc and reflex action. See, students, this is your finger, okay, and here it is nail, okay, nail, and your hand is getting affected by by the nail. Okay. Now you just pull your hand, okay, you just pull your hand upside to prevent your hand. This kind of action is known as reflex action, when you sudden react to anything, okay, without the message is going to transfer inside your brain. And this is the structure of section of your spinal cord. Okay, students, hope now you are able to get what is central nervous system, what is brain, what is spinal cord. In our next lecture we will start the peripheral nervous system. Okay, students.